Central banks have a major problem, and their needs are far too great to solve alone. This is where many speculate Ripple's XRP comes in and solves those issues. Well, in one article, they believe Ripple and XRP are the hidden link to the IMF's global CBDC platform, and how their technology is a major problem solver for many of the issues that CBDCs and central banks are going to run into in the future. But is Ripple really the key between CBDCs and servicing global financial systems? And if so, what does that mean for the price of XRP? In this video, I'll cover the latest news surrounding this article and the exact report from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, where it came from, titled Trust Bridges and Money Flows, Digital Marketplace to Improve Cross-Border Payments. I'll also be sharing an altcoin pick that looks primed to break out to new all-time highs and could potentially help you stack up some more cash for your crypto portfolio and your future. So if you're feeling blessed, comment 777. If you're feeling bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the richest person in your family tree, then smash the subscribe button. Before we dive in, a quick reminder that the opinions in this video are for informational and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments, including cryptos, carry risks and potential losses. Always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. We are not licensed financial advisors, and relying on our content for financial decisions is at your own risk. By watching this video, you agree we are not responsible for any losses or damages, and we do not guarantee any specific results or outcomes. Some of the links below may be affiliate links, and we may earn a commission, which actually helps support this channel and helps us to create value-based videos like this. We also hold some positions in the cryptocurrencies that we talk about, but that's only because we do what we believe in. However, this should not be interpreted as a recommendation for you to do the same. With that said, let's get into the video. It's no longer speculation that XRP is in a prime position to provide services and technology for some of the biggest banks in the world. Listen to what Brad Garlinghouse recently said.
That could be interesting.
And therefore becomes one of the things David talked about, interoperability, bridging. These are things that are going to matter. Well, they matter today. They're only going to become more important. But I do think about why is XRP and the XRP ledger well positioned in the speed, the cost, the scalability. Those things really are only going to matter more in the future.
And matter for what exactly? Well, we're talking CBDCs in this video, central bank digital currencies. And although people like Trump have stepped up and said we are not going to do it in the United States, that doesn't mean that they're not going to do it in the future, considering it is far more effective and efficient for virtually all parties involved. When it comes to the consumer and the customer, when it comes to the bank, when it comes to banking and lending 24/7, 365, CBDCs look like the future. And even if the US didn't adopt it right now, it's unlikely that major banks all around the world won't adopt this technology in some way, shape, or form, and we simply won't have regulatory standards around how it operates. But when you come on over to the Ripple site, you can see that right here, they offer central bank digital currency implementations. And the way that they describe it is for banks to accelerate payments and reduce costs. And here are the major reasons that a bank would want to operate on XRP and the XRP ledger: stability, security, and resilience, access and inclusion, interoperability and overlay services, and then finally, this is a sustainable technology. Which leads us to the IMF in this report called Trust Bridges and Money Flows, a digital marketplace to improve cross-border payments. And the aim of their study, was written right here. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. And so just pay attention. You're going to hear some interesting things that XRP and Ripple are going to be able to solve. Cross-border payments are expensive, slow, and opaque. These problems reflect multiple frictions, many of which boil down to limited trust among counterparties. So think about that for a second. Blockchain, you no longer have limited amounts of trust, right? It is truly transparent. Trust plays a central role in exchanging credit-based money. End users need to trust the issuers of money, and issuers must trust users to satisfy financial integrity requirements. Transactions are possible only where trust links exist. interoperability, and something that Brad Garlinghouse just mentioned, right, is going to be a huge key factor in CBDCs in the future, and something that they all have already accomplished over at Ripple and XRP. Interoperability between different forms of money can thus be conceptualized as the network of trusted links necessary for transactions. Traditionally, across borders, trust links involve exclusive bilateral credit relationships among correspondent banks. However, the fixed cost required to build these links foster an expensive and concentrated system, which is why you'd want something that is more affordable, right? And that would be Ripple. Now, this is a very lengthy paper, so if you want, you can go look it up online and get through it. There's a lot of abstracts, there's a lot of data, it gets kind of messy and confusing, so I'm just going to go directly to the conclusions of this paper and the report. Within countries, central banks act as a trust-enhancing mechanisms across market participants by limiting the need to maintain costly bilateral trust relationships. This is done by providing a common settlement asset. Think about that for a second. And a common settlement platform. Central banks can and have intervened by providing liquidity through swap lines, but bilateral trust relationships between central banks that are necessary for the creation of swap lines are often missing. So what they need is a solution. First, there is the possibility of and this is their solutions that they promote in the paper after doing the research. First, there is a possibility of a global clearinghouse that eliminates the need for a complete set of bilateral trust relationships. So a global clearinghouse could potentially be Ripple here. Second, this paper advances a more promising model for a marketplace to trade tokenized money directly across borders. A shift towards digital money may reduce the need for bilateral trust relationships and foster more efficient and competitive market making. So banks need a solution, and arguably they need digital money. And here's how Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, states this problem.
That we don't necessarily go to the customer and say, here's exactly how this is happening. So I think about it really as part of that abstraction we're talking about for mass adoption. I mean, this is on the enterprise side, but they want a problem solved. And one of the things I certainly talk a lot about in the crypto macro ecosystem is we got to focus on utility. We got to focus on problems. If we're just focusing on kind of hype cycles or speculation, that's not sustainable over the long haul. And I think certainly what Ripple's trying to do is to treat it that way, as be clear about who our customer is, be clear about what problem we're solving for them.
So they're playing in no small market. They're trying to solve real problems for global or enterprise customers. And in this, I believe it was an audio or a podcast from Tobias Adrian over at the IMF and with the FSB and the OCC combined. It was a crypto conference. And this is the title: The Changing Landscape of Crypto Assets, Considerations for Regulatory and Supervisory Authorities. In it, they mentioned the rapid growth of stablecoins denominated in foreign currencies in many emerging economies requires a careful understanding of risks. And basically what they're stating here is that a lot of poor or low income countries have already adopted stablecoins and crypto because their systems are so poor relative to, let's say, the standards of banking in the United States. But this is providing a solution to a real problem. And you can say, well, those markets don't really matter. I would argue it matters a lot. If lower income countries are already adopting a problem because of its serious efficiency and its ease of use and how they can go and already do it without having access to, let's say, other systems of banking, then that means we are already at a point where we can do a mass adoption. We just need regulatory approval, which is why they are doing these conferences. Therefore, a shift from foreign exchange deposits to foreign exchange denominated stablecoins, another solution that Ripple is providing, for these banks, often creates capital outflows from local banks in emerging economies to reserve assets managed by the custodian in advanced economies, right? And we see that all the time. People flood to the US dollar, USDT, USDC. The deeper layers of distributed ledger technology, such as the network and consensus layers, help ensure that there is a single, sequenced, standardized, and cryptographically secured record of activity, blockchain. However, it is not practical, and this is the key point, for regulators to have technical expertise in building and maintaining blockchain networks. In other words, a lot of these regulators, a lot of these banks are not going to sit there and try to have the technical expertise. Instead, they are going to outsource it. They're going to use another blockchain. They're going to use technology that's already built. And who's in a better position for that than Ripple XRP? And so in this article, the International Monetary Fund has developed an ambitious plan for a global CBDC platform. And Ripple is mentioned explicitly as the prospective solution for some of the obstacles central banks encounter in issuing CBDCs. The collaboration between Ripple Labs and the IMF have a history that dates back several years. In a presentation from November of 2018, by Cigar, it was revealed that Ripple was selected for the high-level advisory group on fintech. And I do believe that this plan was obviously pushed back or kind of put on a back burner for a little while as they continue to develop and do research because of the SEC lawsuit. They probably just wanted a bit of clarity before moving forward, especially if, you know, one of your biggest banks and consumers would be the US. So you just want clarity in general. Furthermore, Chris Larsen, the executive chairman of Ripple, is an active member of this group, solidifying Ripple's involvement and influence within the financial technology landscape. So when it comes to the future of banking and the technology needs that are required, I would argue that Ripple is in the best position of just about any other cryptocurrency. Now, being that it has been in the top 10 for its entire lifetime since 2013, 2014, one could argue that it's going to continue to dominate in terms of its market cap over the next 5 to 10 years, especially as they roll out some of these solutions and we get regulatory clarity. Still, XRP price has not reflected those global partnerships and the potential for central bank digital currency integration. So that said, down here in these two green lines, this would be my major buy zone, and that would arguably be between 38 cents to like 30 cents. I don't think we're probably going to go down there anymore, especially as we continue to see bullishness through the end of this fiscal year of 2024. So it's far more likely that we're going to actually break out above this descending triangle into at least those previous all-time highs of like, you know, $2 to $3.31. Now, I'm looking at a very long time frame, but this candle alone and the bullishness of it just get me excited. So that said, it is also possible and potential that through the upcoming months, we just range for a little bit longer. So what I've been doing is I've been on the lookout for altcoins and opportunities to stack to my crypto bag if XRP continues to range. And ultimately, I can't take my personal opinions into the markets. The market. It'll do what it wants to do, and the money will flow where it wants to flow. And so ultimately, I just have to be on board the right wave at the right time. Well, currently, as of year-to-date performance, meme coins have been outperforming the market by a very large margin, whereas everything else has been well below those yearly returns. Which leads me to believe that as the summer lull comes to a close and we get into the end of the year, memes are going to continue to outperform. So what are some of the best performing memes? Well, there's been a lot of memes that have performed from 2021 to 2023. And now this time around, I'm looking for winners that are going to break out to new all-time highs, that are showing strength, that are not just, you know, brand new, that have a proven track record and a team. And there is no better meme than Floki. Now, the reason I like Floki is not just because they're currently number 52 in terms of market cap, but it's mostly because they're actually still under that $2 billion range. And when you look at something like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, when they hit critical mass, okay, and they started getting into that $1 to $2 billion range, they were solidified as legitimate memes. And then when you have a circulating supply that is exactly the same or very close to the total supply, that's another really good thing to see. But this is truly a community run coin, which means it's not some, you know, major institutional player out there to dump their entire bag on you. And if they were, it would reflect in the price action. So let's take a look at the price action. The first thing I'll mention and note is that this thing has history, okay? It's made after Elon Musk's dog, and a lot of the times you want to be in narratives or memes that not only have a strong track record in history, where it's not just straight up dumped over your head while everything else is dumping, because you could look at the majority of memes, they just don't perform to the same degree. But two, you want a narrative that people like. And for whatever reason, in the meme space, dogs and cats have really won. So the question is, will the price action of the token win? Well, back in 2021, this thing was launched, and then it actually, dumped with the entire market through June of 2022. But it's not like the team just dumped all their bags. And again, this is a community run. So in other words, all the tokens were really just bought up by people in the community, and some people had more conviction. So I'm assuming a lot of people accumulated a lot down here, but it would have continued dumping on any major pump. In other words, if we had a reversal like this, if it was a crappy meme coin, it would have continued dumping to lower lows, and arguably in a pump like this, it would have continued dumping. But instead, we're actually getting a positive trend, an uptrend for a series of higher highs and higher lows. Our major low being in 2022. Again, that was the bottom with the majority of the market, so this wasn't alone in that. Then we started getting a new trend where we get a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? This is what you call an uptrend. So the price action is proving the point. In other words, price is king. Someone can say, well, I don't like how someone owns a boatload of tokens and they could potentially dump, right? If they wanted to dump, it would have reflected in the price and vice versa. But what you see here into the future is something that is extremely bullish. While the majority of meme coins, like Pepe, have pumped and broke out to new all-time highs, as you can see right here, it's reflected in the price. This was our previous major high, and then when it broke out, it broke to a new high, supported at that high, and went for even higher highs. This one has not done so yet, but it is in a strong uptrend. And if I were to pull it up on like a monthly time frame, it's pretty impressive, right? The support and resistances that we've seen. We see a resistance at about that 2.7 level here, but we see massive support on a monthly scale right here at the 0.00017. And all we see is fat wicks to the downside, indicating there's a lot of buying. People have a lot of bids in these ranges. So if we break above this range right here, I do believe with the amount of time it's had to create this, double bottom Adam and Eve type structure, and arguably this massive cup, when you go down to, let's say, a weekly time frame, you could argue this is a cup and this is a handle. And so if we break above here, sky's the limit. I don't know where this thing is going to go, but I do know this. I've seen this pattern over and over and over and over again, and 9 times out of 10 it is extremely bullish. Does it mean it always works out? The answer is no. There are virtually no certainties in markets, but when I see something like this, I set a stop loss and I take the opportunity when it comes my way. This is a quick way for me to add to my portfolio and my bag. And it allows me the opportunity to have more income producing opportunities, right? In a market where if everything is moving sideways, I want to be in a trend. I want to be in something that is strong, because it is possible and potential that Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, all of the major market cap players in the space just range for another couple months. And, meme coins haven't been doing that. As you can see, this last couple of months, they've been pumping and pumping to new all-time highs. So I want to be in something that hasn't pumped just yet, but has a lot of adoption, a strong community. Their blockchain is audited, okay, or at least the smart contract, I should say. And so across the board, everything checks out for me here, and that's why I wanted to share this opportunity with you. So much so that we actually did reach out to Floki and said, hey, we really like the token. We really like the price action. Is it possible for us to partner with you? So we're not just sharing this token because, we're partnered with them. It's actually the other way around. We wanted to partner with them because we really like the token. So over the upcoming month, 2 months, I'm going to be stacking into my XRP bag, my Floki Inu bag, and moving forward, I hope to take a lot of the income that I make from these opportunities to live the lifestyle that I want to live and have that freedom. So thanks so much for watching the video. And if you learned something new and you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below for what you think is going to happen in the upcoming month and through the end of the year. And then obviously you want to head on over to bullrunners.com. You can find the link down in the description below to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes playing the #1 XRP play to earn game. So I hope to see you in the next video, and we'll talk soon. Goodbye.